When you look at colors, I see a group of people that do have culture, and that's very dynamic, and that's how we feel. So
Hi, I'm Dr. Angela Flowers. I'm from the University of Belize, and I'm a social worker I call it my trade profession. But I wanted to acknowledge Dr. Gwen and Dr. Ifitayo and what they're saying, because this is a conversation. So I know if you look at your, and I'm gonna do this without the permission of Mr. Craigwell. I know if you look in your our session, let's see where so we were supposed to have Miss Aurora and Mr. Ernesto a little while ago, but because it's a conversation, we're going to continue that way. So we'll allow and respect them to have their hour. So our little break might be a little shorter than what we put in the schedule. So what I would suggest is that if you are feeling you have to get up and you have to go do something, get water, get coffee, get juice, take a breath, do whatever it is that you need to make you comfortable here, go and do that as we go through the process, okay? Does that sound good? Yes, okay. So without further ado, I want to recognize all of you in this room today and introduce Miss Aurora and Ernesto Saqui from the H. Comunel organization from Maya Center. They will be providing us with their perspective of culture and how it is that we can integrate and understand each other from a different cultural perspective. Mr. and Mrs. Saqui?
thank you all very much for giving us this opportunity. We would like to do a little bit of, we like to do the presentation on this very topic as seen by Maya people. Okay. And before I begin, I would like to say that my name is Ernesto Saqui, and my wife here, Miss Aurora Garcia Saqui. Basically, this is how we work this thing. Miss Aurora is a healer in the Maya tradition. She's a healer. She actually deal with people, or people come to her for help, and she really helps people using her way of healing and so on. On the other side, I also help. I'm not exactly a healer, but we do a lot of spirituality work. Okay, as we see according to Maya people, this is what we do. But before I also begin, it is also an opportunity for us. I feel so good, and I'm sure my wife feels so good, that we are both Maya people. We have a culture, we have tradition, we live a traditional way of life, which gives us a different perspective when we look at other cultures. Sometimes when you think they know what to do or how culturally they should act, they're different. But that's okay, because we are different. And that is probably why I think it's important for us to continue to share. And Belize is a very good example of a mix of cultures. So we learn to get together. And honestly, it also gives us the opportunity to live with each other. I don't see us here when you look at colors. I see a group of people that do have culture, and that's very dynamic, and that's how we feel. So with that said, I like to begin. But also, I like to mention here that because we are Maya people, I have the feeling, or we feel sometimes, that we kind of like not necessarily recognize in the best way, if I should say, not recognize culturally. There are certain things that people kind of like, these people are from the bush, and they do certain things differently. But we are very proud that we are people that have learned to live, share some of our culture, and especially we're talking about Maya healing, practical or practices in Maya healing, which in many cases can only be recognized by us Maya people, because that is how we live. Okay, When it comes to looking at herbal healing or medicinal plants to use for your remedies, that is only recognized by us. Western medicine actually doesn't believe this. In fact, you talked about religion. There are certain religion that says that that's really diabolic because it doesn't exist otherwise than for them to support it. And then also there are those who say, oh, these people who practice witchcraft. There's a word they call obia and all these little things that makes it look as though this practice is a bad one. Honestly and truthfully, before any Western medicine that came around in ancient times, our Maya ancient people are still were using herbal medicine, traditional medicine. And that is why it is so important for us to continue to discuss and to teach our children and to teach people about who we are and what we do. Again, we're going to work together here. So looking at this Maya traditional healing practices, we're trying to put it in English, and we can try to say here that when you're looking at your health, you're looking at trying to bring that balance between body, mind, spirit, and nature. Nature, we say, because we live with nature. When I get tired, I go hug a tree, and that tree gives me the energy. I need it. It is protecting me. It is telling me, look, I am here. We can work or we can live together. That is the way we believe. And so I like to go by now beginning at Maya ancestral healing. As you can see there, the approach we use is a holistic approach. The practice is considered is a unified way of doing things. There's not any way to break it. And we're trying to focus here on restoring, like I said, our body, mind, our spirit, and in the environment in which we live. When we do this, we're bringing together herbal medicine and spiritual healing, which is very important. So it's a tradition based on the belief that sickness, we believe that this sickness is a spiritual imbalance caused by supernatural beings. Now, when we say supernatural being, we always believe the owners of all these elements are there, but we don't see it, but it exists. You can feel it. And so whenever we do things, we believe that that is also part of something that helps us to get that imbalance. And then sometimes it's caused by some kind of bad experiences, like maybe a trauma. Maybe somebody you were in an accident, or somebody got killed in your family. It makes you feel different. And then you also have, we're talking about emotions. We have negative emotions. These all have to be addressed so that we can achieve that complete wellness. And Maya people understand how that works, or we at least believe that we understand how it works. So that is the general feeling of what this is about. And so when we look at this healing, then we have to look at our way of looking at things. Like for example, you have the physical. Sometimes our body is sick. Sometimes we have this mental problem. Sometimes we also have our spiritual being. When you look at it, they're all one and the same. They work together. So one goes wrong, the other one goes wrong, then we are sick. So when this happens, we can always feel this chronic stress or mental and emotional problem that we encounter in life, which can lead to a lot more problems when it comes to, like, then maybe you feel there's going to be headaches, there's going to be digestive problems, and there's going to be even heart diseases, and even a weakened immune system. This makes it very difficult, and so we look at all of that, and that is how we move on. Okay, so we feel that this is a way in which we provide this wellness for us to understand how we can live and have healthy lives and so on. So as we move along, this is one other practice, or this is one other item that we use as a healing practice. Many times we talk about balance of life force. In Maya, I would call that chululel, which means you have a very strong life and that you're energetic, you can live. But many times you get to that point where you become sick, you become weak. There are certain challenges in your body, and you're beginning to feel that you're more sick than anything else. So when this happens, usually the healer would be then looking at you, and they would what we call cleansing ritual. And we believe that because you're not a healthy person or you're a sick person, there's always that negative energy that gets trapped into your body or within the person. And so the healer then would look at this and say, okay, you need a little bit of cleansing, either using plants, using different kinds of elements to help you to release that negative energy that is in you. And once you can do that, we always know that we can be healthy back, we can continue to live, and we're a healthy group of people. So balance of life force is something that happens every time in our life. We just need to look for that medication. We just need to look for that help, and then we're able to detox or to take away that problem that helps to restrict us as healthy people. Okay. Now, one of the other things that is really important for us is connection with nature. Maya people always believe in making that activity that is important outside of the home. Okay, the spiritual and the natural worlds are deeply interconnected. We see that. Okay, and as Maya people, then we give great reverence to Mother Earth. How we do that? That is when we go to the plants, or that is when we go and take elements that would help us to heal, and even to collect plants for medicine. Okay, and even when it's very important, we have to then conduct what we call a ceremony outdoors. In other words, healing happens outside of the home. It's always important for us to take that and using plants as well as healing outside through ceremonies, and that is how we can take care of ourselves, and this help us to get better. We heal ourselves. There are times when it's important for us. You have this sick person. This person comes. Then what do? Then you use, like I said, plants, or you do ceremonies, and you heal that person, and we believe that person gets better. So it's very important for us. We don't go to the church to do ceremonies. This ceremony we are talking about is for us outside of the home, in the forest, so that you can have that energy, so that we can continue to do the healing together.
It has to be a special place.
And then, like my wife said, when we do this healing, sometimes, yes, you can do it at home many ones, but when you want to do the healing that takes care of other people's sickness, then we do it in special places. Okay, there are very special places where you do this. So it's not just any and everywhere. Okay. Now, we were talking about another. We were earlier, Miss Dr. Gwen mentioned about uh, us being distressed, like anger, like grief, envy. All those kinds of feeling, or all those activities or those problems can manifest itself as a physical illness for us. So many times we get upset. Sometimes we get angry. Sometimes we fight. All of that becomes sickness eventually, and it can manifest itself as a person not happy, always angry, etc., etc. And And I know my wife sometimes talk to us about, or talk to me about how I am always angry, and that is a sickness. And I don't know how she determined that, but that is something, that happens.
I would want to go through the presentation again, and then each item I will want to kind of like share how we can take care of that as a healer's way of looking at the problems. The first one.
Okay, we go back to the first one. Right.
Okay, you see the person there holding this little boy there. He's actually doing a cleanse. And this happens usually during a ceremony. After a ceremony, then we do a healing ceremony. After we give thanks. Ceremonies we do usually to give thanks for Mother Earth. And then after that, then we do perform cleansing for anybody that would want to do a cleanse. Meaning he will use different items, maybe candles. He will use the copal incense to do the cleanse. That is the aura cleanse. It's like an aura cleanse. So children can perform, adults can perform, sick people can perform it. So that is more or less a cleanse. And that is to keep you to become more healthier and stronger in your spirit and in your physical being, body. So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, have I done something wrong here? I need my. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Being a Mayan is almost, is almost like the tradition of the Garufunas. Garufunas have a lot of tradition, and I can see a lot of, like more or less, almost the same.
Similarity.
Because I guess it's an ancient tribe, that is using the ancient method of also healing. So it has like more or less, similarities. So this one here is about holistic view of healing, meaning I heal, for example, all sorts of illnesses. I have been healing for over 20 years. I can see people with a lot of emotions. I can see people with a lot of physical problems. And then all of them are not too good for you, because then you become somebody that you are sick. And so that weakens yourself, that weakens your body. So a holistic way of treatment, I would say that spiritually and physical. How can we keep ourselves healthy and strong is by eating and resting the proper hours, keeping ourselves strong bodily and spiritually. Meaning when you eat, you don't only eat food, you eat healthy food, and that makes us strong. That can keep us and avoid us from getting sick. Also, healthy is being happy all the time. Like, for example, the first thing you want to think to do in the morning is like what Miss Gwen Union said. Maybe treat yourself with something that you like the first thing in the morning. Maybe a hot cup of tea, whichever tea you would like to get. You know, you take and feel good about yourself first. Think about something good that you have done or that you will be doing for that day. That keeps your morale, your physical, being happy. And then you would think about what you will be doing for the day. Set up your day. Like, okay, today I'm going to be healing. How many people has been, have called for my appointments? And then I will set my grounds. Like, for example, today I will be, I have to give that type of energy. I would want to feel good, because if I am not healthy, how can I heal people? You're going to work. Whatever type of work are you doing for the day? Maybe you work in a restaurant. Maybe you work, you know cleaning, whatever it is. You have to set up your intention for the day. Okay, you'll say, I'm going to do my utmost best of myself. I'll be, first of all, the energy that you give for that day is what you will receive. That is being feeling good about yourself. So when you start your day, start with a smile. You thank whoever you would like to thank. Like,
Sorry.
for example, sometimes we are kind of like confused. We don't know if we want to ask God what the Bible is teaching us. We don't know if we want to ask the Creator. But overall, we want to think that there's a supernatural power out there. If you want to call it God, if you want to call it, you know, the maybe supreme being, maybe the sun, whatever you want to refer it, it becomes to the same idea. You want to evoke lightness in you. Like, for example, I am a Catholic. I believe in God. And then because that is the way we were grown. So I believe that how there's God somewhere, God is whatever you want to imagine. You can be God yourself. Like what I believe in some things that my father usually say, you can be God and you can be the devil itself. So think about yourself as a God. I don't like to think myself as a God, you know, but I usually say I think I want to evoke God all the time. No matter what the God is that. What do you think is God? One day I am a jovial person, so one day I saw a truck in Spanish lookout one day when I was there. And it's what is this truck says? Jesus. And I watched the truck and and the driver of the truck, I tell him, I never know if Jesus is a truck. But it's only a joke, you know. But you know that's only, you know, humorous. It's not true. But you know, I think that whatever you think is God, that is it. I would think I would think as God as a supernatural being, a spiritual being that nobody can see. Somebody have told me I saw the shell one day. I tell her I wish I can see this shell because that is telling me like that you have seen, like as if I am seeing at, you know, at a person that is called Jesus or God. So that is what I told her. I tell her I don't think I can ever see those spiritual beings because they are too powerful. And I feel that I am satisfied only that I think that there's something out there that is powerful, that I can say I can refer it as God or as the divine wisdom, you know. So
Okay.
for me that is what I think.
Okay, let's
Uh-huh.
let's move on. Well, we talked a bit
Mhm.
about life force there,
Mhm.
being healthy
Okay.
person,
The
being
balance, yeah, that is what is to be in your inner self. You have to be that kind of person. You have to be balancing because you want to be feeling good of yourself first. You don't care how people watches you, but you want to feel good. I don't care what my dress is. I don't care, you know, if my sometimes if you see me at home, you know, sometimes I am working. So I feel good about myself because I'm doing something. So that is a balance between between your health, your nervous system, and your body. So first of all, think about yourself that you are somebody important, and that somebody that you're doing something good, even though you're picking trash, but you're doing something good. You know, that is that is to keep yourself balanced. That is how I can see it. But also, I refer to a lot of plants. Plants, even though people don't want to believe in plants, plants really heal and that they have the power of healing. Another healer asked me one day, do your plants really heal? I tell them, yes, of course they really heal. I don't know if because of the energy that I give in it or because I believe in it, but when I give my patients, over 80% of my patients get better. I feel that because I am 100% into my plans. I don't say, okay, I don't think this will help me, or I don't doubt about it. It's because as soon as you touch that plant, if you are 100% thinking it's going to help you, it's going to help you. So faith is also has a lot to play with it. So if your mental health is strong, that means you're a strong person. It's very important to have a mental health. But to have a balance between your body and your spirit, you have to always, you know, be balanced. Cleanse yourself. You like the smoke, but yes, it's good for you. You see the smoke that we did this morning, it's also can be used for aromatherapy. As soon as you are breathing it, that means it's healing you already. it is making you feel good. It is distressing you. It's removing headaches. So go back to your plants. Go back to things that people that knows recommends that is good. But stick to the things that you feel comfortable to. If it is not somebody that is, you know, somebody that knows the plant, then you don't want to drink it too because you don't know if this is only guessing. So you want to stick with person that really knows what they are doing, because I stick with my plants that I really know. And to know my plants, I had to study about it under the supervision of my uncle. And it also comes from part of the tradition of our ancestors. Like, for example, I was brought up with using a lot of plants from my parents. So from when I was small, I believe in a lot of plants. So for me to go back to the herbal healing, it's not nothing that is almost impossible, but it was easy for me to observe. And then I had to go to learn from my uncle, because then I have to get ready to look at more different, a wide variety of more sicknesses from other people from outside. So that is why I had to go and get trained for that. And then if it is family, it's only common cold, cough, maybe diarrhea, something small. But when you think about a wider range of people getting sick, then that it gets bigger too.
Okay, so we move on to the next slide. Like we said earlier, we also do healing using nature to make that connection. And many times it's the acknowledgement of the environment in which we live. Because it's alive, we also have to incorporate that as part of the healing that we do. And that will actually, if you're a sick person, that's the place where you need to be, so you can be enhanced and you can go through the treatment, like we said, using ceremonial activities or rituals that will help us with our health. So to move on, we talked about, yes, not being happy, not just being angry makes it a problem, and many times we bring that upon ourselves, either because we get contaminated, or sometimes people do come with negative vibes, they rub against you, you have it and you keep going, and that is an issue. And so we want to ensure that these are also activities that we can help in order to make the person happy, using different methods as well. So now there are other practices. We have many different plants that is used for medicine. This particular one here is used exclusively for its medicinal properties. For example, you have sometimes medicine is made for you to take or to use topical or to use otherwise. And even those of us who use the plant other or for different purposes. Like, I know of a situation where an individual gets sick. For whatever reason, this person starts to behave different. It looks like seizure, or it looks like the person usually like can drop on the ground, pick that person, and person is becoming unconscious, like seizure. What happens is that this particular plant, because of its high scent, very strong, they take it, they make it into poultices sometimes, or they make it into tea, depending on what it is. The person is the healer would take this and give it to the person, either to smell, to put on the head, or to drink, depending on the situation. And this actually brings back the person, so that the person can come back and become conscious. So we believe that these leaves are used as spiritual defense against harmful spirit, to recover back your consciousness, or to bring back your person. Otherwise, you can be sick, and you can be sick, and you can be sick, and that's a problem. We do that. Yes. Excuse me.
What is the name of the
Or the
plant?
name of the plant? I'll be honest with you, I don't know it in English, but I know it in Maya. We call it tahtai. it's as strong as the animal. I don't know if you know the skunk, the animal. It's as strong as that, but it doesn't smell like skunk. It smells something else. But as soon as you put it in the person's face, right away the other starts to make the person become conscious, and that wakes up the person. We believe that that's a harmful spirit that you're warding off with the use of that plant. That's just one of many activities that happens when healing. So some of our sicknesses out there are sometimes different in the sense that we don't know if it's true that it's a sickness for other people, but that is something that happens with us. Okay? I think. Now, here's another one. I think my wife can speak about this one. Spiritual cleansing. Specifically, it talks about using objects like sacred incense, like the copal we use. We've gone over it already. The copal, when you burn it, it gives an aroma, and the aroma helps to enlighten or to suppress anything that is negative and to bring back your spiritual being. There's the use of the egg. Some people use healers use egg. What they do is they take the egg and pass it over the person's field, energy field, to find out what is the problem. When you break the egg, look at the yolk, and you can actually tell the person's state, whether that person is sick or whether that person something else is wrong. Once you do that, then you can determine what exactly is the situation. But this also comes with prayers. There are prayers that you don't learn overnight. This is a prayer that is being done, is something that is passed on for generation, and they know it, and so it becomes a sacred prayer. And some of those prayers are used with additional elements so that it can determine the problem and can be figured out to clear the body of negative energies.
Like for example, when I do a smudge, depending on the type of problem the person have, I would recommend them a smudge. Like for example, if they have contaminants, if they are having like too much anger, too much sadness, or if they have this how they call this person when it's getting crazy or losing their mind, depression. When they're in a state of depression, that is when I would give them a smudge. And depending on the sickness, that is how I would mix my incense. For example, I don't only use copal, then I put other herbs in combination with it, and that is how I'm going to perform that cleansing for that person. Plus, he needs a lot of prayers. When I do a prayer for a person, let's say if this person has like a depression, then I use a very powerful prayer that has come from our ancestors, and that's why I had to go and learn with my uncle, which is one of you know the elders that is being left in from the ancient times. He knew a lot of these ancient prayers, and he would use, like, for example, the energy of the sun to remove everything that is harming this person. We would use the energy of the lightning and thunder. We would use other energies so that we can perform the healing for this person. But it's special prayers that it is I learned from my uncle. So that is how I would perform the healing for this person here.
Okay, so this is the smudge that we're talking about. Smudge can be done different ways. Basically, this one is saying that the ritual uses steam from water poured over hot rocks to purify and detox the body. It is also used to help women with fertility, pregnancy, etc., etc. Now, this is something that my wife does sometimes for people who really need it.
Well, if there's a woman who wants to conceive and she's having her period every month, that means she can conceive. If she's not having her period every month, that means she can't. There's nothing we can do. But if she is having her period every month, that means she only needs a little bit of help. Sometimes I would recommend hot tubs where she can sit and get the steam of special plants also. Or also some teas that can help her be fertile. We have other teas also that you can drink for that. When you are having your menstrual flow, that is when we would ask her to drink the tea for that. And so heat is very important when you need when you want to conceive, because we believe that the womb has a lot of cold. Cold, that means it's a lot of mucus that cannot conceive. Sometimes we as women don't take care of ourselves. We like to drink too much ice. Ice is not too good for women, because when you have your menstrual flow, that is when it becomes with a lot of pain, because we believe the ice gets stagnant in our womb, and that is what produces a lot of pain when we are having our menstrual flow. So as women, sometimes we have to learn how to take care of ourselves, so that won't disturb us, when we get married, and then we want to have a family.
Okay.
So as young girls, that is part of the tradition, that the mothers would tell you shouldn't drink too much ice at a certain time, especially if you're seeing your period. And don't go into water too much, or don't bathe with cold water during your period. Those things like that, they used to tell you when you are a young person.
Okay, so we move on. Another healing practice that we do among Mayans, I guess it's everybody else that know about it as well too, is the different kind of massages, right? Maya healers use specific techniques, particularly abdominal massage, to release physical and spiritual blockages. This is believed to heal misalignments and address ailments like infertility and tension. Now, this is also it is also very important. I'll let my wife talk about the massage, especially the womb massage.
Yes, for example, if a person that is sick come, and then I would say, oh, I have a lot of pain in my back, then I would have different massages that I would want to recommend to this person. One of them is to remove pain, is what we use as the cupping, or the bentosa in Spanish, or the homa in English, in Maya, or it's a suction, a glass that is used with fire, and it makes a suction in your skin. That is one of the best treatment for pain, especially for back pain. If you have accidents, and then you go to the doctor and the pain won't go away, then that's a good way of releasing pain. Toxins, to release like too much smoke in your lungs, then we also can perform it towards your lungs, and that sucks a lot of the smoke that is hurting you in the lungs, provoking problems in your lungs. And then massages also can be performed in the womb, especially after a childbirth. A woman have a childbirth, then she should have a womb massage, because 9 months carrying the baby in your womb, we believe that it lowers your womb, and sometimes the womb collapses because you don't take care of your womb. So usually we recommend a womb massage after delivery, especially for women who has already a child. It doesn't matter what time. If you have already had a child, you should massage your womb, because your womb is low. And when you massage your womb, then you put it up again in the place it should supposed to be, so that you don't have any complications in the longer run when you get old, And there are different massages that we can do to heal, like relaxing massages with the ligaments is also performed, and then so on. Massages also is healing. So we recommend massages too as a healer.
Okay, so we move along. Another very strong practice among Maya people in their culture has to do with spiritual bath. Okay, as it says there, we use plants as well as we use flower of plants to do herbal bath, and this is also again prepared with prayers and intention to help remove spiritual illnesses or emotional blockages. It's so important, because again, when we are blockage, or when there's a blockage in the system, or whenever we are struggling with that situation, then we look for healers. We ask that there's going to be a bath. They collect the plants. They do their prayers. Again, the prayers we use are not any prayer. It's a special prayer that has been taught along with when learning how to heal, etc. And when that is used and put into action, then that helps heal the person that is sick. Okay, so that's one example there that we do.
Baths are also performed for babies. You don't have to be an adult to have a bath. It's part of our tradition. From when we born, the mothers usually, if they see that the baby is crying too much, there's an imbalance there. So that baby there needs some kind of I don't know how to say it in English, but calming down. And so we perform also baths for the baby. If the baby produces a rash and he's too newly born, we believe that is caused by the things we ate when we were pregnant. Maybe had peppers or something like that. So it causes allergy in the baby. So what does the mothers do? They pick some special plants. Sometimes you use like the pepper leaf that is very good for releasing any skin problems that the baby would have. And we perform baths with that, and it really helps. After a bath, herbal bath, depending on the problem, we put a bath together for the baby. And after a bath, if you see that the baby really comes down, he goes to sleep very well. And also, if he has any problem in the skin, it releases it. So herbal bath is a very good thing to do, even if you're an adult. If you just feel like you want to feel refreshed, if you want to feel like you want to be like more happier, then you perform a bath. So depending on your problem, that's how you also combine a bath. So it's part of the tradition, herbal baths.
Okay, there's also one little thing about this is that there are times when I don't know, there's this word called bad luck. I don't know if you understand what is that. Um, Sometimes some people, they are very successful people, but they become bad lucky. What I mean by that, say on Saturday you won the lotto, you win big money. So you go there and you collect the money, and then 5 years down the road, you didn't do anything with the money. It gets spent and spent and spent, but you never accomplish anything. We believe that that's bad luck. That's a term that we use, but I don't know what would be the other term. But bad luck meaning you never did anything. So you get to do floral bath. So you get that property of the plant, that is beautiful colors, beautiful flower, and you immerse into that as a bath. And then when you get out, you're supposed to be a very happy person, a lucky person, a person that will change to make things better for you. That's just our way of healing and making sure that we take care of ourselves. I just thought I'd share that with you all, and then we continue. Then there's another problem that we encounter in our community or in healing: hot and cold, the concept of hot and cold, right? A key concept in Maya medicine is the balance of hot and cold properties. What we mean by that is cold disorders like cramps and paralysis are treated with hot remedies. All right? And then the other side to that is, while hot disorders like fever and maybe diarrhea are treated with cold remedies. That is just something that we practice and we do all the time. So that's a form of healing for us.
Yes, like for example, the hot and the cold, we cannot mix it together. You can get sick if you mix it. Like for example, one of the examples that I can do is that why do we end up having a lot of problem with our fingers, the arthritis, rheumatism? It's because when we are cooking as a woman, we are touching the hot food, we are on the stove all the time. And then if suddenly you go and push your hand in the refrigerator or the cooler, that is hot, that is cold. So heat and cold, it starts a problem. Then suddenly you start to have inflammation in the joints, stiff fingers. So that is what we are trying to to describe when it's hot and cold. It does not go together. We can get sick out of that. For example, if you're hot in bed nowadays, we use these hot mattresses to sleep, and then when we go out suddenly on the cold, suppose it's drizzling, you shouldn't do that, because then you start with a bad pain, back pain, stiff back, stiff necks, because of the heat and the cold does not go together. So you can get yourself sick if you don't take care of yourself. As mothers feeding the babies, especially if they are very young, like when you are feeding your baby, when it's newly born, all of this get heat because you're holding the baby like this. And then the mother suddenly go and pushes his hand in the cold refrigerator. or goes and washes his hand with cold water, then when you see, you get an infection in your breast. It becomes red, 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 red. And then sometimes that can even burst and it's very painful. So those things can be created by hot and cold. So those are the many examples that we want to refer as hot and cold.
Okay, so we move along. Here, this is another form of healing that we do in Mayan community. This is an ancient technique that requires years of training, involving reading a patient's pulse to understand their condition. Now, this is something that is very much part of us. If somebody is sick and the person comes to you, and one of the ways in which that works is that there's going to be a pulse reading. The healer will have to hold the pulse of the patient. And while she holds, or while he holds the pulses, the patient's pulse, he or she recites this prayer. Say this prayer, and once this prayer is being said, there's a connection that you understand what the condition of the person is. Based on that, then you're going to get your treatment. And many times, that is the only way it works for some of the instances that is being that people use when they are sick. So this is not just like you hold a person and you know what it is. You have to actually have that connection so that you understand what the problem is. Then you provide medication after that. Okay.
Okay, with the pulse reading, it's very important for a person. You can even diagnose yourself. I will want you to hold on your wrists. If you can check your wrist by yourself, there is 2 points here
Okay.
and here.
10 minutes. Then is it?
Can you feel it?
Okay.
Here and here. Sometimes you don't find it. You can check your 2 hands. You have to have it here and here. You should check on yourself. That's a good way of checking at yourself. If you don't feel it, that means you're not balanced. That means something is wrong with your system. Something is wrong with you. Even if you don't want to think you're sick, something is wrong with you. Either emotional, spiritual, or physical. So you should feel your 2 pulses. Now, if you feel your 2 pulses, how do you feel it? Sometimes it's too jumpy, it's too hard. That means it is also not good.
Okay.
If you feel it too slow, that means it's also not good. So you should feel it, but you know, it's a temper that is like a clock ticking. Then you're okay.
Okay.
So I don't know how many of you can do that, but I don't know if you're feeling yourself or not. But if you don't feel it, that means you're unbalanced. If you feel it too hard, you're unbalanced. If you feel it too slow, you're weak. That means you need a lot of vitamins. You need a lot of iron. So I don't know how you feel about yourself, but that is how we can diagnose yourself.
Okay.
Now, in whatever problems you have, the way we as a healer would balance that pulse is with a special prayer. I would hold your pulse, then I will recite a special prayer, not from the Catholic Church, not from nowadays, but it's a prayer that is especially for your blood or for your blood flow. Your pulse is your blood flow. So I would recite that prayer, and then after I recite that prayer, you can check on yourself, and that pulse should be normal. It's as quick as that, as lightning.
Okay, so we
So that is
continue.
how what we refer as the blood,
Yeah.
as the pulsing.
We want to continue because time is of the essence at this point
Yeah,
in time.
how much more time we have?
Okay, we have a few more minutes, but I just want to go through this very quickly. We have spiritual consultation. Pretty much, this is also where we do fire ceremonies for guidance from spiritual ancestors to guide us, and so we can have an insight of the patient's issues. Basically, you're sick, we come to this ceremony, we know what's your problem, and we go on from there because we will give you that cleansing or that healing or that medication. Okay, so we move on. we have this thing called soul retrieval. Now, the English word is hard for us because we want to find the right word, but we don't really know exactly. But according to this little write-up we hear, he said is, if a trauma has caused a part of a part of the person's soul to fragment or become lost, the healer's journey to the spiritual realm to locate and retrieve this person, integrating it back into the individual to restore emotional well-being. What I mean by that, very simple. Okay, you're by the road, you're by the road by yourself walking, and all of a sudden you saw this supernatural being get your attention. Now that is not normal. You don't always see that. If you see that, it's because you have a problem. Immediately when you see that supernatural being, that particular being takes away your soul. That's what we believe. When it takes away your soul, what actually happens, you as a person start to get sick. All right? You start to see all sorts of things in your sleep, and you scream, and you start to get very sick. You become ill, you become all sorts of things. So what this is saying is that that supernatural being, or that particular element, took away your soul and want to take it away. The healer would have to do a ritual. The healer would have to go bring whatever it is that is necessary to do a healing. And sometimes they use the blood of a chicken, this of a little chick, cut the head, the blood spray, grab, take it, and offer it to this supernatural being that has gotten your soul. And when that happens, the blood exchange, you bring back the soul of the person, and the person come back, and he gets back to his well-being. That's a tradition. That's something that happens within us. Yeah, you have some people who scream and do things and don't know. So sometimes people are sick. When you come, you actually find out the problem. Now, I don't know if you understand what is that, but that's what we do. But again, we have to put the candle. We have to put light again to see the light, and a little bit of water as well, so that they can also feed and take water. That's something that we do. Time. Again, I just want to go very quickly here. Earlier, I burned the sacred copal. It's an incense. It's gotten from a tree, and we use it when they extract it. It becomes sacred incense. That's the only element that is used to conduct any ceremony, any healing, any sorts of whatever you want to, clearing, smudging, you name it. You need this element. Without this element, you are not going to do anything. And this is again very popular in the Mayan community. So as we see there, it's a very powerful tool for spiritual cleansing and actually harmonizing the environment. So that is what we do. So we need this to do our ceremonies. Now, very quickly, I want to finish, but very quickly, when you do Maya ceremonies, this morning we did with the 4 cardinal points. So we are doing the direction here. The red color there represents the rising sun, the east direction. So everybody goes to see the east direction. It means the rising sun. It means birth, renewal, new beginning, etc. So that's where you start. Then you move to the north direction, which is wisdom, peace, ancestral, connection, rain. All those are cosmic. Those are understanding that we use whenever we are trying to conduct our ceremonies. So the north direction, that's what it says. Now the west direction is the setting sun. We mentioned that earlier. It's a transformation, it's death, it's balance. And the south speaks of the yellow color. It speaks of fertility, abundance. It's the heart of the earth. Now these 4 directional points here, each one, the red one, is connected to the human being. The red one, if you cut your skin, you see blood, red, the rising sun, the earth, the direction of the sun. The north is the wind direction, is the white candle. It's also, if you take a knife and scrape your body, you will see bone. That's the connection. So it's red candle, it's red corn, it's white corn, white candle. Then the setting sun is the black candle or the black corn. All of that is connected. And then the yellow south, yellow candle, yellow corn. It represents the skin of the person. So when you put this into a circle, then you have the saber tree. We put the saber tree there, but we have the center of the universe, the tree of life. So around us in the cardinal points, you have the center where the copal incense is placed, and that's when where you burn. You burn it, and then you connect. You make that connection. That is very important. Okay, that is very important. And also the center is where everything starts. The tree, the symbol of the saber tree, the tree of life. This is also the idea of how the structure of the particular tree of life is connected. You have the middle of the tree, which is the axis, or it's the center that actually holds the universe for us together. So when we look at this four direction at the center, that's the tree of life. You have the branches, which is the upper world or the 13th element. Then you have the middle world, which is the branch, or which is the above the root, the middle part of the plant, where the human lives, where we all are living. Then you have the that represents the earth part, and then you have the underworld. The underworld is the root, is where you hear the word like Shibalba and so on. That is something else, but that is what we call the underworld, the 9 levels of the underworld. So for us to come back to life, or for us to to go up to the branch, if you're dead, then you need the axis, or you need the axis of the universe to reach out, to reach the spiritual world. So all of that comes into the ceremony. And to summarize what we said, basically the first idea is Maya healing, balancing, spirituality, and connection. That's what we did. The second summary here would be illness is both spiritual and physical. Then the third one is practices like herbal medicine, copal burning, and ritual cleansing, restoring harmony. And the last one is healing honors Mother Earth and ancestral wisdom. So all of that makes the whole cosmovision of the Maya people as it relates to them living here. So that is where I'd like to stop, and thank you all very much. I don't know if that made any sense, but